What's up? What's happening, folks? And welcome back to the channel Sports, Life and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective, and I'm here for the news. And here today, I got several news clips for you. They're going to be great discussions and topics that's happening in the United States at this particular time in history. Yeah, Puff Daddy house is getting raided. I mean, a blind man could have seen that coming from 100 miles away. You have this young lady named Megan Hall, who I did a video on over a year ago because she was at the police station with her coworkers having sex with several different officers. Now she was a rookie police officer, and I'm gonna tell you, she actually sued and won over $500,000. And I'm gonna tell you why I think she deserved every penny of it. You might say I'm crazy, but wait and hear where I'm coming from with it. In this last case, the last clip that I got for you is going to be two brothers involved in the deadly mountain lion attack. Now, I'm a person who has made several videos on white people and getting killed by animals when animals attack white people. And at the top, I asked, do animals hate white people? The answer is no. Do animals hate white people? No. Do white people respect animals? Hell no, they don't respect animals. So we're going to go over all these clips, but the first clip of the day is Puff Daddy home being raided. Now, my take on this is something I haven't heard anybody talk about yet. Puff Daddy, in my personal opinion, is cooked. This is Jeffrey Epstein. This is Harvey Weinstein all over again. So he's cooked. That's not the biggest story to me. The biggest story is that when you're one of these type of sexual degenerates, a pedophile, allegedly for him, but still alleged. But when these people are those things, one thing tells the whole truth. They have a lot of recordings of this stuff. For some reason, they want to record everything and hold on to everything. So, all of the people in the entertainment business who have partied with Puff Daddy are shaking in their boots because you don't know what Homeland Security or the FBI has gotten their hands on. Because now it's sex trafficking. That means Homeland Security gets involved because you're trafficking human beings across international lines and state lines. And if they underage and you're having sex with them, now it's it's pedophilia involved, pederasty. So it's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. So if you're an athlete, LeBron James, James Harden, any of these mega Hollywood actors, and you've partied with Puff Daddy, and you've been involved in any of this type of shit, you have to be absolutely terrified right now because all of this shit is coming to the surface. And a lot of people who party with Puffy are Negroes. We know this. Now, are there a lot of different races party with Puffy? Absolutely. But we know our own people party with Puffy the most. And it's a lot of males. And we know within the rap industry, it's a lot of homosexuality. And they just playing tough. But they really a lot of butt brothers. But let's take a look at this first clip, you guys. Why are Sean Diddy Combs homes getting raided?
Has been no stranger to controversy, especially as of late, having had several sexual assault allegations lodged against him in recent months. Late last year, Combs made headlines when performer Cassie Ventura filed a bombshell complaint against Combs, accusing him of some seriously heinous stuff. I'm including sex trafficking, rape, forcing her to take drugs, beating her, forcing to have sex with male prostitutes as he.
Yes. Sean Puffy Combs is a degenerate at the bare minimum. I don't know what laws he broke or didn't break. Uh, that'll come out in the wash. But we know one thing for a fact: at the bare minimum, he's a sexual degenerate, and yes, he's a handler for this lady. And what I mean by handler, I'm talking MK Ultra mind control. He had this lady under mind control. That's why they use all those type of drugs to try to control these young ladies' minds. And are all these women innocent? No, but some of these women, when they get into this, they can't fathom the type of things that's going on. A lot of times it's just, you get in there and you think it's, oh, it's going to be there, but it's far more egregious and far more sinister than you can ever imagine.
Reported. The list goes on and on and on. And while that case actually settled out of court, there were several more individuals who came forward.
And yes, they are Luciferians, and you see they do have the color scheme of black and white.
In Combs of similar acts. This includes two women who allege that Combs assaulted them in the early 90s, an unnamed Jane Doe who's alleging that Combs, along with his friends, raped her when she was 17 years old. And then you have a male recently filing a lawsuit claiming unwanted sexual harassment from Combs. But his team is fighting back, recently filing that this unnamed woman must reveal her identity before the case can proceed. The woman will remain anonymous.
And let me say this: do I have um, any empathy or sympathy for people who are drugged? Absolutely. If you go to a party and you kicking it, you had no plans of doing anything, and somebody give you some exotic shit that you was not expecting or that you did not know you were ingesting, that shit is not right. Whether it's male or female, that shit is totally wrong. Now, if a person chooses on their own validity to have sex with another man, if he's a man, or they want to indulge in orgies and all this, that's fine. If they say, "Hey, I want to do this," then I'm gonna take the drugs. But if you didn't you had a bottle of champagne, or you had a margarita, whatever you're drinking on, and somebody just spiked it, you have every right to sue the hell out of everybody, be pissed off, and most definitely want charges brought to the full extent of the law. 100% I'm behind them on that particular issue.
The judge rules on that motion. Now, Diddy and his legal team additionally continue to deny all other claims against him, but this is big. Joining me right now is Tracy Walder. She is a former FBI special agent, former CIA agent, News Nation national security contributor, and I'm also joined by Misty Maris, trial attorney and legal analyst who's been following the case. Great to have you both here. Tracy, this is huge, right?
It's good to see you, Jesse. Yes, it is huge in that really this isn't the start of an investigation. This is, I don't want to say the end of the investigation because clearly he's innocent until proven guilty, but this is a point at which there is more than enough to now bring in the federal authorities. So really this group that came in to conduct this investigation is HSI. So they're part of the Department of Homeland Security, and they are the investigative arm. So they're
And like they said, once these people are coming in, they have so many uh, people who have turncoated on him, who are basically spying on him at this point. He has all type of people around him at this point that he just cannot trust. He over the last few months, Puffy didn't know who to trust no more, because when these type of things begin to drop, people begin to tell. All that no snitching shit, that shit sounds good until your ass is facing real time. All that shit's cute till you facing real time.
Investigating really transnational crime, transnational syndicates, as well as sex trafficking. And it's my guess that that is why they were involved in this.
Okay, so Misty, let me turn it to you. This was a warrant from the Southern District of New York. I want to pull up number 2 if we can. This is a source familiar with the situation told NBC that 3 women and 1 man have been interviewed in New York by federal authorities in connection to a probe involving sex trafficking, sexual assault, solicitation and distribution of illegal narcotics and firearms related to Combs, who's also known as Diddy, Puff Daddy, and P. Diddy. Now, I've read those prior lawsuits. A lot of that is very consistent.
And let me say this: if Puff Daddy still had any of those videos or any of that shit, it's a high probability because these people are sick mentally when it comes to these type of things of holding on to this shit. But if he didn't get rid of everything, he's a fool. And if he had anything that went to the cloud, oh, he's toast. If he had any laptops in there, because if you have computers and laptops, I don't know if you know this. I'm not, well, most of you guys probably know this, but you can't erase any of that shit. You can't erase none of it. It's on there forever. Unless you burn and melt that shit, it's on there forever. And now you have that shit called the cloud, which ain't nothing but data collecting for people's private information.
What are you taking away from what they're doing here?
Yeah, this is obviously looking into federal crimes. And this is an investigation that has definitely been put together meticulously, coordinated efforts in 2 different states coming out of the Southern District of New York. So this says that there's more, Jesse, than what we've read in civil complaints. That's not going to be enough for probable cause to go in, get a warrant, and conduct a raid. There's going to be those witness interviews, but my guess would be there's more than just that.
Tracy, I have to imagine.
And yeah, I would agree with them that there's more than just that. But there's a lot of people, like I said, that are terrified right now. All your favorite rappers, all your favorite athletes, all of these people have partied with Puff. When I say party, I ain't talking about they motherfucking was out there listening to Lil Boosie wipe it down and dancing. I'm talking about partying with no clothes on. So, and we talking about partying with orgies. We talking about partying with men on men, women on women, all type of degeneracy going on in there, urinating on people. Listen to me, this thing is going to get real sick. Yeah, and you're going to need some kind of remedy for this, and the remedy is probably jail time.
It was not just they announced a raid or did a raid on a nice sunny day in both Miami and Los Angeles. The timing of this matters. Do you think it was they wanted to make sure? By the way, we don't know if Combs is in custody or not, if he's not in the country or what. Why do you think they chose right now? What do you think they're looking for?
That's another question. Where's Puffy?
So typically the FBI, when we would do these simultaneous raids conducted really exactly the same time, was because we don't want evidence destroyed. We don't want people being tipped off. And it's my opinion, again, I'm just hypothesizing. I don't know the details, but it's my opinion that's why this was.
And this looks terrible for Puffy because why aren't you in cuffs? Well, maybe he is in custody. We don't know, but it looks terrible that your two sons are in cuffs and in custody at the house and you know where to be found and nobody's heard from you yet. They say he was on a flight somewhere. That's what's being alleged. I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure more information will come out here tomorrow. But yeah, this looks terrible. Look, he got his son King and he got his other son Justin, and they just sitting there. I know they have to be in complete disarray. Like, Dad, that's if they can even call it that at this point. Who knows what's going on? But they're going. If it's interrogate everybody, everybody's under the gun now. Will Puff Daddy save his two sons, or will his two sons have to snitch on the daddy? Who knows? It's gonna get real now.
Did it simultaneously at exactly the same time, because 100% of the time, that's why we did that at the FBI. And so really, I think this is about evidence destruction. Of course, I want him in custody if there's a warrant out for his arrest. But I think the preservation of that evidence was issue number one for this group.
Misty, I gotta believe the timing of this has to be related to those lawsuits. Out of all the time, because they were alleging conduct from years ago. So the fact that this is coming down now, I feel like the lawsuits, information that was gathered in there, and remember, there was, Misty, there was also information gathered. There were photographs in one of the prior lawsuits where Sean Combs is allegedly around underage girls. Tell me those lawsuits have some connection to this.
Well, I definitely think they could be a starting point for an investigation. They wouldn't be enough to move forward with this type of warrant. And I think Tracy's 100% right.
Yeah, I agree. Just because he's around underage girls, because his sons are, a certain age. So if the girls are around, that doesn't mean that you're guilty. They have way more evidence than that, way more, and they just want to get a hold of the computers and laptops and little USB thumb drives and all that shit. If they can get their hands on that shit, the old VHS tapes, man. That's why I say, man, it's a lot of people. Yeah, everybody's worried about Puffy, but Puffy is at this point ancillary to all of the people. This is like Epstein all over again. This is like Jeffrey Epstein all over again.
Of evidence is the key. But Jesse, one of those lawsuits, the most recent, which was brought by a male, alleged conduct in 2022 and 2023. That's very recent. There's time for that evidence to be collected and to serve as the basis for this warrant. Remember, in that lawsuit, a lot of photographs for reference, videos, something that if turned over to authorities could absolutely lead to this result, a raid on multiple properties.
If we could put up number 3, this is actually a statement from Douglas Wigdor. This is the lawyer for Cassie Ventura, who I mentioned before, and the Jane Doe. In response to these search warrants, we will always support law enforcement when it seeks to prosecute those that have violated the law. Hopefully, this is the beginning of a process that will hold Mr. Combs responsible for his grave conduct. You're surprised by that, considering they settled that lawsuit, Ventura?
Well, settling the lawsuit is one thing. That's civil. Whether or not there was criminal conduct is for the criminal side, the feds now to investigate and pursue. So I'm not surprised that the lawyer for the plaintiff would say, hey, if there's something out there, from a criminal perspective, go for it.
I'm also not surprised because if you read between the lines of those statements after the settlement, it didn't seem like she was absolving Diddy of what she accused him of doing.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find news.
But, fair use on that news clip, fair use. But like I said, you guys, nobody's really talking about it. Everybody's, at this point focused on Puff Daddy, but on this channel, we're ahead of the curve. Like I said before, all of these major athletes, Hollywood, all of these Hollywood elites, all these people have to be shaking their boots because Puff Daddy has been known to throw the best parties, and the best parties mean the best orgies. Period. But we'll see. There'll be more information to come out. I will be covering this again. Let's take a look at this clip. Attorney for former Laverne officer speaks out after a $500K settlement. Let me talk about. I covered this video over a year ago. Megan Hall, and as you can see at the top of the thumbnail, it says, "I blame the black man," because there was 3 black men involved in this thing. Now everybody ended up paying and getting fired, but I say the 3 black men, they should have knew better than most. They should have knew. Let me see how long ago I made this video. Let's see how long ago I made this. Let me see. I made this video over a year ago. It was March 7th, 2023. So almost to a year to the date. March 7th, a year and a couple weeks that I made this video. And in the video, I wasn't blaming her a lot. Look, when you're dealing on a job and you're superior over anybody in position, they have something called quid pro quo. You cannot have sex with somebody beneath you because you have position over them. You can influence raises, you can influence firings, you can influence all type of things because they can say that this is because of the relationship. And has that happened? Well, that's happened so many times that they came up with a law. I was talking to my son today, who's in the military, he's in the Coast Guard, and we was chopping it up. And he told me they took a whole class on this. Like they had a whole day where they just talked about this shit. That you cannot do it, don't do it, it's not worth it. If I tell you it's goddamn man eating piranha in that lake over there and you just yell out you want to go for a friendly swim and get your ass chewed alive, that's on you. I don't care what this woman did or how she did it or what she was doing. Everybody said, oh, she had sex, she was a whore and this, that, and the third, and she's so promiscuous and this. So what? None of that matters when the law comes in because that's why they gave her $500,000 because when she went to court, she said they coerced me. I was a rookie officer, true. They were my superiors, true, and they coerced me into sex. Whether that's true or not, at that point, it's irrelevant. The law is the law for that. And the 3 black men who was involved, I just thought they was the silliest niggas on the planet. Look, most men, their biggest problem is they have very little penis discipline. And they have the inability to be able to keep their clothes on when they need to. And that shit backfires on you time and time again. You were so eager to have sex with this very little, small, unattractive white woman who probably has terrible bathing habits that you threw away your whole job, your pension. You threw all that shit away for what? Let's take a look at the clip.
Regardless of whether it was Megan or some other female that walked into that workspace, this probably was inevitable and would have happened.
A $500,000 settlement in a high-profile sex scandal lawsuit. Thank you for joining us here at 6. I'm Carrie Sharp. The city of Laverne agrees to pay former police officer Megan Hall $500,000 for alleged civil rights violations. It's a case News Channel 5 has followed closely for more than a year. And tonight, in an exclusive, we hear why Hall and her attorney agreed to close this case.
The disturbing details came from not 1, but 2 investigations last year, finding evidence of sexual activity between Megan Hall and other officers within the Laverne Police Department. And it led to a federal civil rights lawsuit, one which the city settled this week. Are you satisfied with the settlement?
Absolutely. This was her decision. She wanted to put this in the past and move forward with her life.
Wednesday night, the Laverne Board of Aldermen voted to pay Hall.
Because let me tell you this. Now, her getting $500,000, that does, her being white does help. This was a Negro, maybe she's got 100. I don't know. But I'm gonna tell you this: the reason why, because the city is not inclined to just hand out $500,000. They had no recourse. They couldn't win. Everywhere they turned, it was a loss. Up, rookie police officer. Up, he was superior. He had seniority over her. He had seniority over her. He had so every single officer that she had sex with had seniority over her. So they were going to lose regardless of if she's a slur or not. Whether you think she's a 304 or not, that's irrelevant to the fact. Though the fact is, these officers were trained in their training. They told them, "Hey, with female officers, that is your subordinate, that you have superiority, where you're superior, not superior, but seniority over. You cannot have sex with them." They take training classes for that. Yet they did it anyway. And then when it all came back to bite them in the ass, they want to say it's all the woman's fault. It's not. It's your fault. You have to have more discipline as a man.
$500,000 to close the case. Alderman Dennis Waldron was the only dissenting vote.
And also it done is sending a message out to everybody in the world, said, come to Laverne, sue Laverne because they're going to settle.
Well, I've got great advice for him. Stop breaking the law, and you won't get sued.
In an
There it is.
interview last year when the story broke, Hall, the lone female officer on second shift and a rookie, said she was manipulated by her male superiors, including the police chief, to the point where she participated in sexual activity. In the culture of intimidation, she said that she felt she had no choice.
Nope.
Now, do I believe that? Absolutely not. But the reason why they have the law set up like that is if somebody gets in a position where they're underneath other people, that the person can't use this sexual thing against them when it comes to raises and advancements and all. So what they did was they just said, basically, we're not going to allow that all. We don't even want it because it creates too much dissension at the job and all of that. Do I think she's just some innocent little white bunny? Absolutely not. Do I think she's a 304? Yes. But like I said, the law don't give a damn about that because the law is set in stone. And it's not like the officers didn't know. They knew for a fact that this could happen.
Than should ever happen during this type of abuse. What happened to me during my employment at Laverne's police department, it should never happen to anyone.
Hall's attorneys Wesley Clark and Sarah Mansfield hope this $500,000 settlement sends a message that such conduct anywhere will not be tolerated.
And I think for Megan and for other females in a male-dominated industry, it's an unmitigated victory for her and others.
There is no admission of liability by the city, but they did agree that Megan would be paid $500,000.
Hall's attorneys say,
oh, so the city said, we're not really liable, but you know what? We're just going to give you $500,000. Boy, yeah, you know you was wrong. You knew that there was no recourse. You couldn't win. So at that point, all you was doing was hemorrhaging cash in court cases and lawyer fees and all that shit. It just became, well, let's just give this lady $500,000, get out of Dodge and move on. And they're going to, hammer these officers. For the black officers, who knows? You probably never be hired again. The white officers, they might have a shot. They might have the complexion for the connection, but the Negro never really works out. That's why I said in the video, I blame the black men. They should have been like, hell no. They should have stayed as far away from that little white woman as they possibly could. But they penis discipline is so low. And the inability to keep your clothes on is so low that you found yourself in this position.
their client knows her career in law enforcement is over. With this settlement, they say Hall plans to put this ugly situation behind her, go back to school, and get on with her life. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
Nick, thank you.
Well, $500,000 is a good way to get on with your life. And as you can see in this video, I said, I blame the black man. Because everybody got fired, but the Negro paid double. That's just the way of the world. Ain't no such thing as fair. You want to go to a fair? If you want fair, you go to one of the little spots where they got Ferris wheels and corn dogs. Next clip. 2 brothers involved in a deadly Northern California mountain lion attack. Now, I've made at least 6 or 7 videos on white people being attacked by animals. And can anybody be attacked by an animal? Absolutely. We know it's all possible. In a certain neighborhood, you might be a loose pit bull, some shit like that. But there's no way in Sam Hill hell you should ever get eaten or attacked by a mountain lion. What are you doing out there with mountain lions? What are you doing where the bears are at? White people find themselves in the most inconspicuous positions because they love to be around wild animals. And I posed the question earlier. Do animals hate white people? No. Do white people hate animals? No. I mean, do white people respect animals? No. But the thing is, these things just keep happening. How? Let's take a look at the clip.
And we have new details about Saturday's mountain lion attack that killed one brother and badly injured another. Today, the authorities identified the brothers as 21-year-old Taylon Brooks and 18-year-old Wyatt Brooks, both of Mount Auckham in El Dorado County. The brothers were searching for deer antler sheds when they encountered the mountain lion on a dirt road over the weekend. They did what experts advised, tried to make noise, make themselves as big as possible, but the mountain...
Let me say this. The mountain lions are stalker predators. So they stalk these. Who knows how long that mountain lion had been following them. And you in that mountain lion territory, you don't know if that mountain lion just gave birth. Do that mountain lion got cubs? Is that mountain lion starving to death? You just don't know. But people get themselves out there with these mountain lions, and white people just don't respect animals like they should. They think they can be side by side and one with nature, and they're just not. You have to respect these animals' space, and they don't. And that shit got one of them killed and the other one bitten across the face.
Still attacked. Wyatt survived, but Taylon was killed while trying to protect his brother. El Dorado County Sheriff's deputies described Taylon's bravery as truly an act of love.
This was a heroic story of two brothers who grew up in nature, avid hunters. You never know when your last day is, so just enjoy those that you're around with and just develop those strong bonds.
Family issued a statement saying they're devastated, of course, by Taylon's death, yet thankful Wyatt survived.
I mean, I just don't understand it. Like, how the hell do you get eaten by a bear? Killed by a bear or a mountain lion? It just seems so far-fetched. All these videos I watch, you never see the Negro get eaten by any of this shit. We respect them animals, boy. We're not going to put ourselves in a position. We're not swimming with the sharks. If they say it's a lot of great whites right over here, we ain't getting in there. Period, point blank. I don't want to get in there. I'm good. Let him. That's his space. I don't own that piece of water over there. That's his. Let him have it. Hey, man, it's a bunch of deadly stingrays down in there. Okay, well, shit, I'll stay up here by these rocks over here. I'm not going nowhere near down there. I'm not going to play with them. But once again, white people, they put themselves in these positions for him to fail with these animals, man. These animals don't like you in their space. Stay away from them. Leave them alone. Oh, we're going to hunt deer. Why are you fucking with Bambi? Go to the grocery store. Shit, they be hunting them. And as you can see, look at the deer on the wall in the back. You taking the mountain lion's food. Look at the deer on the wall in the back. They didn't use the deer as furniture, man. And you wonder why a damn mountain lion then fucking attacked you and jumped on you. You're out there competing with the mountain lion for his food when you could have took your funky ass to the grocery store and got something to eat. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. It's tough to feel like empathy and sympathy for these people when they put themselves in that position. It really is. But you guys, I just wanted to go over those few clips. Sean, P. Diddy, Combs, House Raided, Megan Hall, police sexual escort, wins $500,000. Well deserved. She played 6 dummies out of their money. And Mountain Lion love white meat. That's all I can say about that. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been a hell of a newsreel. But hit that like, hit that subscribe. I just took your ass on Puff Daddy. It's in a bunch of trouble ride. Peace.